Alrighty. I am actually going to get going as the recording's already started on this instead of stopping and starting because I've got my book to write. So if none of you come, that's fine. But as you can see, guys, I'm feeling the burn today. Oh, kind of getting back into it a little bit more, but I'm trying not to get back into it too much because last time it took over my life. And basically, well, oh, it's somebody else's turn, shall we say. So I am just going to put all my planets back on my chart because I've been writing and I've been having to create charts without planets on. So for the to send in with the book. So, all right, I think that's all of them. Where are we at now? Now I'll share my chart. As you know, I don't do mini readings on this anyway, and I'm hoping most of you have managed to listen to the podcast and things, but I have a few, few things. As always, kind of more comes into my awareness as full moons approach, and this full moon is huge for me, and I've been really emotional all morning because it's all this Leo stuff is really about the heart, and it's all in my 8th house, which is really the deeply psychological area of the chart, and it's all it's kind of the house of the shaman, and it's the house where we dive into deeply bonded relationships and things, and strangely enough, I'm having a lot of stuff coming up regarding my Scorpio daughter. Good stuff, mostly, actually. She moved out recently with her boyfriend. They're living in an apartment in his parents' house. It is separate, but they get it for like just bills, and so she can actually afford it. And at first I think she felt like she had to separate, and now she had a bit of a crisis the other day. I've talked about it in the group a bit, and I feel all of this this Venus star point and this full moon was part of this in my 8th house. And I had to kind of go over there and just make it clear that I still want to be involved and part of her life. And so because she's a Scorpio, she's very private with feelings, but she's kind of messaging me all the time, and she's got some car work needed doing, so I'm having to help with that and sort out joint finances, which is the 8th house. So this is how it's showing up for me at the moment, but at a deeper level. All right, let's go to I just want to move this forward to the full moon ish. Can't remember what time the full moon is, so I'm just gonna take it back till the moon is opposite the sun. 23, 22, 48, 22. There we go. Oh no, that's it. Opposite Venus. Oh, apologies. So the full moon, sorry, I keep calling it a new moon. Feels like a new moon. I don't know if you heard if I said it on the podcast, or if Jen and I just talked about it, but lately the full moons feel like more like new moons to me. They feel like a new beginning, and the new moon feels like more like a place of ending and fulfillment. And I guess they both have always been that. There's kind of a ending of a bit of a cycle and start of the next. And the new moon, of course, is the start of the lunar cycle. But full moons really have been feeling a bit like new starts to me. And of course, this one really does, because we've got the Venus star point, which was earlier this morning. And the Venus star point is, we've got this full moon at 22:24, but that Venus is only moved 21 degrees past the sun on this. And so she's still cazimi. She's still, well, she's not officially cazimi, that's 17 degrees, but she's still right in the heart of the sun. And of course, we also have Juno only at 4 degrees or less than 4 degrees from the sun. And she is the rights of the oppressed, but she's also our marriage asteroid. And I do notice as well a strong desire, with it being in my 8th house, to be closer, to be more bonded with my husband. Not that there's any problems, but I just want that closeness kind of thing. And then Mars is within 6 degrees of the sun, and is therefore still said to be combust, which means the sun is kind of within the beams of the sun. And Mercury's coming up behind, and Mercury is leaving the shadow of his retrograde. Yoo-hoo! And is only, 18 degrees from the sun, and he's going to catch up, and he's going to be within. And eventually these are all going to join together in Virgo on that new moon, but we'll talk about that later. But I really want to talk about these Venus cycles. So 4 years ago, hi, Christy. 4 years ago, I did get going because I've got time constraints. 4 years ago, on August the 15th, 2015, the cazimi was in Leo. Now, this time, the sun, it was on a retrograde, okay, August. So, in fact, let's go back 4 years. Four years ago, there's the cazimi again, but Venus was retrograde. And that means Venus crossed in front of the sun and was blinded kind of, from our Earth's perspective, Venus is next closest to the sun. And but when Venus is right in front of the sun, it's so blinding we can't look at her, okay, without, special filters and things like that. But she's very close to us in a retrograde. This time she's behind the sun and the other side of the sun from our perspective. And I can show you actually on solar system scope. Where's it gone? I'm just going to show you. I'm going to stop the share of this and get that loading and show you what this looks like. So I'm going to share my solar system scope. Feeling more like Brett, Gemini Brett, for those of you that follow him. So this is where we are at the moment. And so you can see we have the Earth here, the sun at the core of our solar system. And on the other side of it is Venus and Mars, so kind of hidden from view. Now, Venus has a bit of elevation, so I believe with the proper equipment she can actually be glimpsed, but basically from the astrological perspective she's hidden, and the sun is kind of our core, so the sun is kind of blocking our Venus and Mars energy from our view and from our energetic body, if you like. And then Mercury is going to pop round here as well, and we'll move behind as well. I'm not going to go way ahead. I think I'll keep showing this though, so we can learn a bit of astronomy together as we do this. Okay, and so to my mind, this really means that this Venus cazimi being on a full moon as well. Interestingly, can I see? I don't know how to zoom in. I need to do that to see the moon as well. But anyway, basically the full moon means the moon will be on the other side of the full moon will be over here and the sun here with us in the middle. All right. So we'll have all this stuff in alignment. And then Mercury is going to join. And this is all our most personal planets kind of meeting up in this big alignment. Mercury heading in to join. But right now, it's our anima and animus, the male and female parts of ourselves, or the night and day parts of ourselves, I want to say, because I'm writing this new book and we're trying to get away from this man-woman perspective. I see Venus as more of an exhale, like I'm going to relax, a kind of energy. And then Mars is more an inhale, take a deep breath and get into action kind of energy as well. So if you think of the universe as a real pulsing, breathing, living being that's reflected within our self. Okay. So God, I hope this book's going to be good, because I'm trying to explain all that in words. So in fact, when you guys listen to the recording, and Christy, in the comments, if you like, tell me if it helps you to kind of feel the energies, this switch to kind of a day energy, action, outer oriented energy, and a night inner, receptive, more intuitive kind of energy, instead of saying masculine and feminine. Let me know if it resonates. It comes from a really old system, but I'm using it in quite a different way. It does also. Great. Awesome. I can't give credit to myself for thinking of it. There's an astrologer called Jason Holly, who I'm going to credit in the book. But I'm kind of developing it for myself as well. So interesting times, I think, really, for the age of Aquarius. It's a more egalitarian kind of energy and humanitarian energy, and more, diverse energy, if you like, and more androgynous. I think we really need to come up with new language for how we talk about the universe. Of course, the energies themselves have not changed. Astrology is neutral, but because it just is. It's just how we've talked about it under patriarchy and kind of more day-oriented energy. Our society is so action, do, work all the hours, fill the night with light, fill the night with electronics to light it up, so we don't follow the natural rhythms anymore, that kind of energy. I'd like to see a move back away from that to really feeling it all. But anyway, and that's kind of appropriate to do with this Aquarius full moon. It does remove resistance and allows the energy and remove. Yes, I'm going to use that. That it removes resistance. If that's okay. I like that. Maybe use that in my introduction a little bit. Because it does, when somebody says, because I have what's really seen as a very male chart in some ways. Because I have so much Sagittarius, and Jupiter's my ruling planet, and I have Saturn in Capricorn, which is actually feminine. That's a whole nother matter, but or is actually night. But when people look at it and go, "Oh, your action," it doesn't take into account the other things in my chart. I was born at just twilight, daylight, really, things like that. Yeah, I think we have to look at these energies in a different way moving forward. And I'm starting to do that. So you guys are at the forefront. I'm sure there's other astrologers doing it too, not just Jason Holly and not just me, but I happen to get this opportunity to write a book. But anyway, back to the Venus Cazimi and the full moon. 4 years ago, where were you? What were you doing? What was happening? You might not immediately kind of see where it's heading for you. 4 years ago for me, on August 15th, 2015, we had just become citizens, July the 27th, 2015. And these star points. So I became a citizen while Venus was in her retrograde journey. We're still using she, he, by the way, but we're just going to ask in future how people identify themselves when we do readings. We'll use they as well, but I try and avoid saying she does this as much as possible, but it's kind of, we don't have the language really for that either yet. It's changing. But anyway, I had just become a citizen, or we had, my family, 8th house. We had bonded to the United States formally, which is my 8th house. I find that very interesting. And I don't think I actually was working with the star point then. I didn't start to work with it till the one after this. Okay. But you could say that that allowed it to start coming into my psyche, because the 8th house for me is a very, well, for everybody, it's a place of the deep psyche where deep psychological forces kind of work within you. Okay. And I was also working to, I was throwing myself into volunteering for Bernie Sanders back here in 2015 as well. You know, he had not long announced, I think it was May 2015 he announced. Pretty soon I started volunteering. Then I met other people that were volunteering. And then I became part of Utah for Bernie Sanders. And I ended up co-chairing Utah for Bernie Sanders and canvassing in 3 states and becoming a national delegate and all that stuff. And that was the year after. I spent my 1-year anniversary after this point of being a citizen as a national delegate in Philly. But that's what was happening in my life. I'm not really quite seeing how this is going to develop in a cycle. I know it will. I know there's something deeper developing from this, and it's yet to unfold. But I see the Venus star point thing as a gestation period. But to come back to today, or to this full moon that we have coming tomorrow. The moon is in Aquarius. We did not have, the Venus star point back then was not on a full moon. So this one's even bigger. To go back once again, sorry to keep flipping. But if you see, we had Venus there. Mars was in Leo still, but you know, there was not the same Leo kind of energy back then. It was all a bit different. The moon, it was just after a new moon, the Venus star point, interestingly. This would only be a day after a new moon. So if we see that that was a new moon, wow, I hadn't noticed that. I don't know if anybody else has. You are getting me in unfolding mode. Oh, that went back 4 days. Let's go back 1 day. New moon, the day before the Venus star point. Okay, I'm not going to get it to the exact time. That's wow. Okay, so if we look at the lunar cycle, new to full, there's some real kind of something that began back in August of 2015 or around that time. And around that star point is really reaching a kind of fulfillment energy right now. Okay, so I really would urge you. I don't know how you can do it. It's kind of easier if if like me, you're an entrepreneur and you've got a calendar that you keep. If you keep a Google Calendar, look back and go, hey, what was happening? What was beginning around that time? All right. There's some stuff as well around my kids and their mental health that was beginning around that time as well. A lot around my deeply bonded relationships, but there's something for me around my relationship with the USA, I think, for sure. And the humanitarian aspect. So, yeah. So any thoughts from you, Christy, seeing as you're on, about 2015, 4 years ago? Does anything ping for you? Yeah, chat is fine, or you can unmute and talk if you like. But I do want to talk about the aspects a little bit as well, while you think and talk. I'll wait. Interrupt though if you want to talk, but if not, just turn. But there's an exact square to Vesta in Taurus. Okay, and this Vesta in Taurus, or it's forming a T-square on the full moon, shall we say, and the star point is squaring it. Vesta in Taurus is about focus and commitment. And funnily enough, and I don't have the time right now, but there's you probably follow them, Christy, as well. But there's a group of indigenous people. There's doing a run from Bears Ears to the Capitol building in Salt Lake City, and there's going to be kind of a gathering on August the 26th, which will be just before the next new moon, about the Earth, about saving the Earth and things. And with the moon being in this humanitarian sign of Aquarius, when we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and Vesta being kind of this focus and commitment, what I'm feeling the pull towards is more focus and commitment towards what I can do to help save the Earth. Okay, you might be feeling this differently, but it might be. And also, interestingly, Aquarius, of course, as I said, is like represents like egalitarianism, community. It's also, to my mind, more the realm of like gender diversity, shall we say. And here I am focusing on writing this book. So I don't know how all this is showing up for you. We've talked about where the Leo energy was in your individual one-on-one readings, so maybe go back and listen to where that was for you, and think back 4 years to August 2015, or just before, or hi Melanie, or just around that time, and think about where in your life changes were happening 4 years ago, and where this is showing up for you. Interestingly, that moon is on my Chiron, which is on in Aquarius, of course, in my second house, which is about self-esteem, self-worth, but how I also earn my money. And here I am writing this book. It's blowing my mind, kind of thing, that's got this egalitarian approach and diverse approach. Astrology for everybody is kind of what it's called, because a lot of astrological books are very much written using masculine, feminine, talking about women, and I've done it myself, talking about the goddess and all that kind of stuff. I always try and qualify it by saying it means we all have it in us, but I think we really have to find new words. I think you can tell I'm kind of fired up by all this. Interestingly, I think, well, you're in there with me, Melanie, in the Miracle Lab. One of them, Chloe, posted in that thing about how we have the messages we're getting in the morning messages, and she said she got a message for everybody that was aspire, and and this book came to mind that I've had for a long time, longer than 2015, I believe, for sure. Yeah, way longer. And when was this published? Oh, it was published in, I think it was 2010, 2011. I got it. This, yeah, it would have been. So interestingly, but I've got it when there was another star point. I bet I did, actually. Anyway. And here I am. This is talking about the power of words. You know, I don't know necessarily if these words are relevant to what I'm doing, but I'm talking about the power of language, really, of astrology, and how we use astrology, and you can't make this shit up. It's basically what I'm saying. So, wow. So I do think we do need a full moon journey on this one. And I'm actually going to do it with you. I know, Melanie, you're probably at work, so you probably can't do it. I don't know if you are at work, Christy. I don't know if you're able to do it with me. Either way, it doesn't matter. You know, you can come back and do it later. So almost the 30 minutes in, we're going to do a short journey. And we're going to do a journey to the heart of the sun. I know it's an Aquarius full moon, and the ruler of that is Uranus, but I'm really feeling like with the sun being at the opposite point, and with the Venus being in the heart of the sun and Mars being in the heart of the sun, we're journeying to our very core, which is the sun, the center of our solar system, the center of our core energy, and just asking what we need to know on this full moon and what we need to release tonight on this full moon, with this tremendous star point as well. You already feel that? Yeah, me too. I'm like ball of emotion, to be honest. Not in a horrible way, not in a and Melanie, you said you were crying a lot too, but my crying is not like, oh my god, life's awful. It's like, it's just so much emotion, which is, yeah, you know, it's fine. So I'm going to get a drum check up. If you've not if you're not journeyed before, we have a couple of new members. It's just basically like a visualization, meditation kind of thing. You let the drums take you away. But how I do it is we're doing it to a specific energy. And oh yeah. Yeah, well, you know, it depends where Leo is in your chart. And I think I'm not doing chart readings today. Yeah. Yeah. I think you know, sometimes that's anyway, I'm going to let you journey on it, Melanie. Yeah, journey into the heart. See what the heart is telling you. The sun, the heart of our solar system. See what it's telling you. If you've not journeyed before, you basically close your eyes, and when the drumming starts, you visualize yourself in a starting place and look for a way up to the universe. All right. The universe is the upper world in shamanic terms. So you're going to visualize yourself going up. However you go up, it could be a beanstalk, it could be a ladder, it could be stairs. I fly on the back of an eagle, you know, it could be a dragon, whatever comes your way, how you get up there. And because it's non-ordinary reality, you can land on the surface of the sun, and the sun is not going to kill you or burn you up as it would if you wouldn't get anywhere near. So you're going to journey to the sun and land on it and have a conversation with the sun, which is in effect your heart. So you're journeying into your heart, and you're going to ask the sun what messages it has for you. You're going to have a conversation with the sun. Ask what's most important for you to know on this full moon and this Venus star point. Ask how you can step into higher love. If you read my post yesterday, with all those around you, and with yourself. This is about giving love and receiving love. But guess who our most important relationship is with? The self. Because without that, yeah, you know my opinion on that one. So I'm going to play a drum track. I'm going to close off my video. I'm going to sit back and enjoy it with you. Let it take you away. When you see, when you feel the drums changing slightly at the end, that's what's called a callback. Okay, and then you thank the sun, you close up your conversation, you say goodbye, and you come back to your starting place and back to your room. And I'll be here at the end. So I'm going to try a different drum track here. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll see. I'm just going to move my mic nearer to the computer so that you get the drum track loud, nice and loud. Just turned up. All right. So close your eyes and let it take you away.
We're at Beast Athletics right now, late night routine session.
They're just announcing it.
And normally, when we're in this gym, we work out muscles, work out the physical body, 10-minute meditation. So if you have headphones, put those in now.
All right. Well, Christy says, thank you, Louise. I'll be doing this one again this evening. I appreciate you. Big one and feeling it deeply. Is Melanie still here? She's still here, but I don't know. You were probably at work. So, well, I have to say I did it. And I pretty much cried all the way through. So a bit red-eyed. The message I really got was to throw my heart into this book. So I'm going to go and do that. I'll get the recording up, and I'm going to go, right. Love you guys, and happy full moon. Please do something outside, or just speak outside. It doesn't matter what time of day. We're right between the Venus star point and the full moon now, and just go and even just say a few words and just say thank you, thank Venus, thank the sun, thank the moon, and ask for their support, because we are really being kind of blown up here. So in a good way. All right. Much love. See you all later.